Now that Godzilla, King of the Monsters, has arrived, the stage is set for the epic MonsterVerse, touted since the massive Reptiles titular 2014 flick. 3 films in, and we're starting to get a vision for the key players, pawns, and prehistoric beasts that make up the newest and biggest cinematic universe. Here is everything you need to know about Godzilla. What is the MonsterVerse? On its most basic level, the MonsterVerse is a name for Godzilla King Kong franchise that started with Godzilla 2014 and so far contains Kong, Skull Island, Godzilla King of the Monsters, then next year's Godzilla vs. Kong. Narratively though, the series focuses on an alternate version of our Earth where huge creatures known as massive unidentified terrestrial organisms, also known as Mutos, exist. The series not only follows the monsters at the core of the films, but also a group known as Monarch, which investigates, catalogs, and tries to contain the titans who walk their version of Earth. Godzilla. First introduced in 1954's Godzilla, the original titan has long been wreaking havoc on townships, cities, and other monsters whilst building a legacy as one of the world's foremost movie monsters. The star of over 30 films, Godzilla has been both antagonist and hero, and the MonsterVerse's version of the radical reptilian definitely leans more towards the latter, even though he destroyed much of San Francisco in Legendary's first foray into Godzilla lore. Heading into Godzilla, King of the Monsters, the Titan hasn't surfaced since the San Francisco attack where he fought off giant Mutos and quote-unquote saved the city, also causing a lot of collateral damage. His appearance then altered the wider world to the existence of the Mutos and Titans, shifting society as we know it and creating a new world order that recognizes the Titans. King Kong. The classic black and white movie monkey has a long history with Godzilla. He started alongside the dinosaur-like creature in his third feature film. His own history, though, goes even further back, having made his silver screen debut in 1933. A giant ape who survived in a strange prehistoric landmass known as Skull Island, Kong already has connections to Monarch and has proven himself to be another protector of the Earth and the natural balance of all creatures who live on it. Though he isn't expected to show up in Godzilla King of the Monsters, he'll definitely be in Godzilla vs. Kong, which is the next slated MonsterVerse movie. More Godzilla vs. Kong footage revealed in brutal new teaser. If you absolutely cannot get enough of the chunky boy King Kong throwing punches at other chunky boy Godzilla, have we got news for you. Fresh off the explosive trailer debut last month, another new teaser for Godzilla vs. Kong has been released online, showing off even more of the fisticuffs to come. The blockbuster is ostensibly a follow-up to 2014's Godzilla, 2017's Kong Skull Island, and 2019's Godzilla King of the Monsters, as the two major MonsterVerse characters go head-to-head in cities around the globe. Your Next and Death Note filmmaker Adam Wingard directs this follow-up, which does have some connective tissue to previous films like the inclusion of Millie Bobby Brown and Kyle Chandler, but largely stands on its own as a massive monster movie packed with CG spectacle. Godzilla vs. Kong, who will win their fight? Godzilla vs. Kong will pit two of the most famous monsters of all time against one another. With a movie like this and tagline like "One will fall," it seems inevitable that this film will crown one of them the undeniable victor. Even if both team up against a greater threat like Mecha Godzilla, one will likely be the winner, and by considering how Kong and Godzilla exist in the MonsterVerse, it becomes clear who is more likely to win. Behemoth, Methuselah, and other new monsters. None of the monsters in King of the Monsters even remotely resemble existing kaiju. Behemoth is a novel ape-like woolly mammoth, and while there was initially some suspicion that the mountain-like Methuselah could be Anguirus, a popular Ankylosirus kaiju, that did not appear to be the case upon viewing. Eventually, we do see another Mutos in this MonsterVerse edition, indicating that Godzilla didn't kill all of them in the 2014 movie. Godzilla's Meltdown. After Serizawa's nuke fires him up, Godzilla is just bursting with radioactive energy, maybe too much energy actually. Godzilla is headed toward a thermonuclear explosion and he starts glowing red. Longtime Godzilla fans will recognize Burning Godzilla, a version of the kaiju that appeared in 1995's Godzilla vs. Destoroyah. Godzilla was headed toward a meltdown in that movie, and while it made him super powerful, it also probably would have rendered the world uninhabitable had Godzilla been allowed to blow. The risk of nuclear death is downplayed in King of the Monsters, Godzilla as himself. The end credits cheekily note that the 4 main characters were all played by themselves. This is kind of funny because kaiju in the Japanese films were famously played by men or women wearing suits, while the King of the Monsters beasts were CGI. However, even in this movie, the monsters were technically played by people. 3 different actors provided the motion capture for King Ghidorah's 3 hands, for instance. Post-credit scene. The post-credit scene returns to Isla de Mara, where Rodan emerged from a volcano and Godzilla and King Ghidorah had their second battle. Alan Jonah, Charles Dance, appears and agrees to buy the severed King Ghidorah head that Godzilla ripped off during their earlier encounter. Clearly, this is a setup for the next movie. But what kind of setup? Some Godzilla fans speculate that he'll build some sort of Mecha King Ghidorah as seen in the 1991 movie. He would have to build a lot more cybernetic parts, though, as Mecha King Ghidorah had a robotic replacement head, not a whole body. Other theories suggest that the lingering effects of the Oxygen Destroyer might come into play, as the weapon's after effects created Destroyer in 1995's Godzilla vs. Destroyer. The most intriguing possibility, though, is that the severed head will be used to create Bagan, a kaiju who was almost the villain in a bunch of different Godzilla or Mothra movies, but ultimately ended up on the cutting room floor. Bagan's only major appearance was as the final boss of the SNES video game Super Godzilla, where he appeared as an ancient Chinese monster that had been strengthened by the alien infusion of Godzilla and King Ghidorah cells. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss out on any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos that are on your screen because I am sure that you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video.